All right, hello, and welcome to the second workshop of this quarter for the writing department. Today, we're going to be talking about flavor text and succinct descriptions. Really quick, just to knock it off the list, just to make sure everyone knows, succinct is just like short, brief, and to the point, which is not a succinct way of describing succinct.
That's why we have the word succinct.
Yeah, succinct helps us describe things more succinctly. Anyway, let's talk about flavor text. So, what is flavor text? I didn't pull up like a dictionary definition or anything, but if you asked me, flavor text is kind of like sort of supplementary writing, right? So it's not really going to do much in terms of helping us tell our overarching story, probably. Probably no mechanical purpose of knowing like the information provided in flavor text, right? I'd say it's a relatively small part of like the overarching story, but they're a good space still to develop our worlds, our characters, and maybe add a few more details to those stories, right? And it can help make your games more interesting. I don't know what the next slide is. So yeah, let's see, where am I going with this? 1 second. So yeah, as the name implies, it's not really a mechanical purpose. I already said this. Here's a fun little line that I wrote earlier. Think of it like the icing on a cake. It's a really nice addition, but you probably wouldn't want a cake of just icing. It could happen. Maybe that'd be an interesting thing, but it's usually just a nice addition on top. But we're going to be talking about it today. So, wow. Where do we see it? Like most sort of tools that we have at our disposal as writers, flavor text isn't like super important in all genres. Some genres or some games, some situations might make better use of it. So, for example, the player will need time to read the text, right? If you've got like wonderful descriptions of items, we can't be in the middle of like a war scene and be like, get to the point over there. Wait, but really quick, this is a special rock and you should read about it. So be mindful of when and where the player is able to sort of like appreciate and read your work. And I mentioned it just in that example, but kind of, I guess it's a bit obvious, but it's good to point out. Flavor text is probably more useful when you have a type of game that has like an inventory or multiple items that can be described. That's not to say you can't colorfully describe the elements in your game that aren't part of your inventory, but I think that probably when we think of flavor text, we think of like just a ton of items in our massive horde collection that we're collecting as these heroes in our adventure game or whatnot. So just to bring it up, this slide, as it points out, it's pretty common in RPGs because those are the types of games that often have tons and tons of items. Maybe you're crafting potions and you need like herbs and whatnot, or there's fetch quests, or you have like 5 cogs and you put them together and you get a cog sandwich. Crafting systems, games with inventories. They can also be commonly found in card games. I don't play too many card games, but I'm pretty sure, for example, on Magic the Gathering cards, oftentimes you'll have the mechanical description of the card, and then a nice little bit of flavor text that helps describe a character or a spell or a creature or so on. I don't think I have it listed up here, but on the subject of RPGs, you could also see it in, say, like a bestiary or an encyclopedia of all the enemies that you can fight. There's a lot of places, especially if you have the tools to like have like a log or a sort of like database of sorts in your game to place extra writing. And yeah. So the next cool thing about flavor text is it actually follows a few themes from dialogue. So this is from a workshop that we held in the past about trying to write good dialogue in our games. And one of the cool points about it was when you're writing dialogue, you want to try to hit these 3 points here, which is the dialogue useful? Is the dialogue short? And is the dialogue interesting? So a lot of these topics we can also take and apply to flavor text. very similar to dialogue. Oftentimes we will be limited in terms of the space that we have at our disposal. If we don't have, say, a logbook or an encyclopedia solely dedicated to providing a space for this type of text, we might not have much space. Think of Magic the Gathering card, right? It's a very small, inches by inches card. You don't have a lot of real estate to write out a ton of text. So, short. Useful. I would say this is maybe less important for flavor text because, as I mentioned earlier, it's not as important to have a mechanical impact on the item if it's just flavor text describing it, right? But still, if you can find some way to use that information, maybe make it relevant later, that can be cool. Like, say we have a fire monster, and we wanted to try to describe its weakness to water. We could do that in a flavorful way, maybe say like, it loves beaches but hates the water. And that could be a sneaky way of saying, hey, if you have a water attack, it won't be happy about that. So that would be maybe useful, and then interesting. Megan, can you think of a flavor text that would be just the most boring thing that you could, as far away from interesting as possible?
So this health potion, it's like red. If you drink it, it'll be liquid.
Okay, so if we had health potion as an item, and the description simply said a red liquid, you think, so that's kind of, doesn't tell us much about it. It's just, it's red, it's liquid.
Especially if you can see an icon of it being red and liquid.
Yeah, so if it were redundant, it would probably be less interesting as well, yes. It could be tomato juice, it could be wine.
Who knows?
Who knows? Okay, yeah, so it's good to try to hit a balance of these 3 points, in dialogue and in flavor text, and yeah. So, on the subject of being short, succinct, I touched upon this already, but the physical constraints or digital constraints, if it's a game, we don't have a ton of real estate to work with. We don't have a ton of screen space. If you talk to a designer, they'll probably say user interface. There's a lot of information to there. Maybe we don't have the space for a ton of text, unless we have an aforementioned logbook or database that we can have. Although I don't think I've worked on any projects that we've made a dedicated database or logbook, but I'd be interested in trying to do that sometime. Player interest, if we have paragraphs and paragraphs of text that are flavor text, it might lose the player's interest. So if, for example, we had a sword that had, the flavor text was just the history of the civilization that it came from, and how that resulted in this sword. And it was pages and pages of wonderful history about this ancient civilization. Someone might be interested in that, but I think that probably the general player will be like, oh, that's a wall of text, too long, didn't read. Just be mindful of it. There's no absolutes here, of course. Again, people might find that interesting or funny if you're trying to do that intentionally, just intimidate the player with a wall of text. But yeah. And then last point, short writing is just a good practice. It helps us, it makes us think about what it is that we're trying to say, what we're trying to get across, and how to do that effectively, which is just fun to try to do. Yeah. So hey, we mentioned health potions. Wanted to talk about health potions as an item that appear in tons and tons of games, and we kind of know what they do. They heal your health. So mechanically speaking, all these things serve the same purpose, but I wanted to look at how we distinguish between them. How did these games make their bring your health back up different from someone else's bring your health back up item? So I'm going to pass it on to Megan here to talk about the next few slides. Megan, really quick, Mike is over here, so be sure to just be conscious of that.
All right, 6. So, I included stuff from the Souls games. These ones generally have a little bit of a short description and then what it does mechanically. And then after that's done, there'll be a couple small sentences of lore stuff, because Souls games are into that lore stuff. I've also got, oh boy, I want to make sure everyone can see, so I'll just talk louder. I have, from Final Fantasy 15, this was the only one that I was able to find flavor text for, an energy drink that takes on healing properties by way of Noctis's powers, restores half of HP. So it tells you mechanically, it restores half of your HP, but story-wise, what you're doing is drawing upon one of your character's powers in order to heal yourself.
With soda pop.
It's not soda pop.
Oh, it's an energy drink.
It's Red Bull. It's
oh.
Fantasy Red Bull.
Oh, okay.
And then I included the Zelda stuff. You can't read this because it's very small, but this is a hearty mushroom skewer, and it restores your health and does all that stuff. This simple mushroom-packed skewer has its colorful presentation to thank for its appeal, because a mechanic in Breath of the Wild is that you can cook things. So it's kind of like describing the dish that you just made, and it's giving you a bit of like gratification for like, you did that. And then I also included the elixir soup from Wind Waker, because I really liked this item. It's something that your grandma gives you right before you head off on your adventure, and even though it is a bunch of pixels on a screen, when I was playing that game, because it said like, this healthy soup your grandmother makes, it gave me this like warm feeling of every time I went to go like drink it or refill it, because it's like, this is my grandma's soup that she made for me.
So really quick on that point, that's really cute, but also I think that almost points in the direction of useful in terms of flavor text, because it's helpful to making us players feel something, helping us understand the relationship between our player character, Link, and his grandmother. So in that way, it is cute and useful.
If it provokes an emotional response, it's good. All right, I think that's all I've got. Okay, there's also world and character building through text. I included a couple of things from Pyre. These two items, Headwind's cooking tins and Pamitha's moonshine. You can find them just lying around your caravan wagon. You know, your transportation. And it'll tell you like little things about Headwind and Pamitha, about their personalities, what kind of items they would have on them, what they think is important to take with them on a journey. So that's character building. And then they also mention what passes for cooking supplies in the downside, which is also doing work as world building. There's this sword from Tales of Vesperia called Second Star, and the only flavor text is the first one is for him. Who's him? We don't know. You could probably dig into the lore and try to find out, but it sparked a lot of like fan conversations, which is also cool. Yeah.
I just want to throw in a point about the Pyre, the moonshine. So nice little blend of visuals and writing here. I believe that looks like a snake in that bottle, which is interesting to me, and that is just a fun little detail that I think working with the writing makes it a really fun miscellaneous item that appears very briefly.
Yeah. And then my third one, this is from Dragon Age Inquisition. I managed to find a bottle of gray wine. There's like 3 names for it. I think Bright Water is one of them. But basically, the Grey Wardens, apparently according to Codex entry, as they travel around, they just grab whatever alcohol they can find and refill their bottle, so that each warden's bottle has a unique taste. And so you can pick these up throughout the world, and it'll be like vintage Warden Karanik, and then he'll name his own vintage. So notes of fruit and anger, bottled whimsy, home, serve yourself, don't frigging touch, I spit in this, I mean it. So you never meet these wardens as far as I'm concerned, but it still does so much to bring their personality into the game. It's just touching upon this person that you'll never meet and yet you feel like you've met them.
Man, I really wish I could meet Warden Riordan. I feel like did they make like a few book series or?
That's funny, Riley.
That was a bit forced.
Xenoblade Chronicles. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. These items, do you see how they're just like, wow, they were right, you can't read these at all. But do you see how it's like big pouch or little pouch? That's the only visual representation you get for these items.
So no snake in a bottle.
No snake in a bottle.
Dang.
Nothing fun like that. And when you pick them up in the world, they're tiny glowing blue orbs that you just pick it up and it's like, you picked up a blood-stained face. And you're like, awesome, can I see it? And they're like, no. But even though they don't like represent these visually at all, for some godforsaken reason, there's millions, not millions, a lot of these items, and they are all named really unique things and given really unique flavor text. Like, all-seeing eye can even see properly at night. It's still alive, you know. What? My friend had 6 of these. These are all screenshots from my friend's phone. Escliffe. The truth of existence is inscribed. Sells for a high price on the market. The only point of these items is to collect them for either random fetch quests that mean nothing and you don't remember at all, or to just sell them as a whole bundle at the market. There's no other point to these. And I don't know why they put so much effort into these flavor texts, but the flavor texts are really cool.
Is there like a crafting system at all to this game, or?
There is, but
Does it use these items?
I don't think so. No, it uses these items, the little hexagonal things. As you can see, these are all not in the hexagonal tab. So you literally just collect them and then turn them in.
Fascinating.
They put a lot of effort into these.
Yes.
I have to say the all-seeing eye flavor text is a bit undermined when you have 6 of them.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Well.
It's like, why do you have 6 all-seeing eyes? That sounds like something really rare.
You fought either like 6 all-seeing cyclops or several 3 2-eyed creatures or 1 6-eyed creature. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be as cool if it was the some-seeing eye.
You're right. That's just normal eyes.
But that
If
would
it's in
be
your
pretty
pocket,
fun.
it's a no-seeing eye.
Yeah.
Unless it can see through
So yeah, really quick, do we have any questions on anything we've gone over yet so far? I know that you just walked in. Do you want us to recap really quick? Or?
Sure.
Okay, so we're just going to quickly go back and talk about what we talked about. So we're talking about flavor text today, which is just maybe supplementary text used associated with describing items or objects in a game. Usually they don't serve a mechanical purpose, so to speak. Like we talked about health potions, where mechanically we know that they heal your health, but then how do you distinguish it through flavor text? So it's that added little detail, so to speak. Oh, excuse me. And it's more common in RPGs and stuff. Usually things that have item systems, if you're describing items, or perhaps encyclopedias or codexes or databases for monsters or other events going on in the game. We talked about this with dialogue, but it applies to flavor text as well, in that you want to try to have your text be useful, short, and interesting. Just good points to hit. And we explained that briefly. And then we talked about health potions. And then we talked about world building and character. And then we talked about Xenoblade Chronicles. So, do we have any questions at all about flavor text or any other elements of the thing, or not? All right. So, if that's the case, pull up either some paper and a pencil or a laptop or something that you could write on, because we've got an activity. Surprise! We're going to make you write some flavor text. So today's activity, what we're going to do is we have a bunch of miscellaneous, pretty common, maybe game elements like a health potion. Make your own, right? So try to quickly and succinctly write some descriptions, some flavor text for these items here, keeping in mind the useful, succinct, and interesting guidelines, so to speak. So what distinguishes your health potion from someone else's health potion, right? How do you make it special, and how do you describe it? Just things for you to think about. And you can try to make several different types of the same object. Like if you wanted to have a red health potion and a blue health potion, what does that mean, right? That's up to you guys to decide. So go ahead, and we're going to take, I'm going to say however long we want to take on this activity. And after that, we'll reconvene and talk about what we got. So yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can jot down some notes here. So sorry for anyone who's watching the stream, because it's going to be a little quiet here for a bit.
We can just shout out our flavor text.
Unless you guys want to chat about, yeah, what you're thinking about. Oh, do you guys all know what a MacGuffin is? Okay, so MacGuffin is just an affectionate term for a miscellaneous item that for some reason is needed to move the story forward. So if our heroes had the orb of the all-seeing eye, and it was a mysterious object that has no purpose, but it's very important to move the story forward. If there wasn't there, our heroes wouldn't know what to do, maybe. Then potentially it could be a MacGuffin.
It's especially a MacGuffin if it doesn't actually get used for its intended purpose in the plot, like the Philosopher's Stone in Harry Potter. It gives eternal life, but it's never actually used for that in the book.
Yeah, or like the list of special agents that always get stolen in a spy movie. It's like, ooh, they're gonna release it. They never do. We just have
It's
to
used
chase.
to great effect and Get Smart.
Or like the stones in Infinity War, the Infinity Gauntlet.
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure he used that one.
So,
But they're still MacGuffins.
They're MacGuffins in the earlier movies. They were
Oh,
used
definitely in the
in
earlier
Infinity
Yeah,
War.
that's what I mean.
Okay. Oh, snap.
Time Stone's used in Doctor Strange. Power Stone's used in Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of. Kills a lot of people.
Space
Stone.
create weapons.
Mind Stone is Age of Ultron. Yeah, they're all used.
They're just colorful rocks. Just call them by their colors. How do you remember which one's which?
Whatever the fuck is going on with
We're
Thor?
nerds.
The
The
Dark
what?
World.
Because we're nerds.
Ah,
Yes.
okay,
Also-
you big nerds.
Our dorm is modeled after like Marvel movies,
That's so
so
weird.
each like wing has its own Infinity Stone.
God.
I think mine is Stone of the
Model after
Mind.
1980s
Oh,
Transformers
wow.
cartoon.
Okay, let's see.
wait,
What?
no, Anna. I thought your stone was green.
Never mind.
Was what?
I don't know. My stone is time. Okay.
Time? Oh,
Yeah.
the green one.
My
I know the Mind Stone is yellow because that's the one that Vision has. Vision has yellow.
yeah, I thought it was yellow for some reason.
Yeah, one's
And colorblind. Okay.
Oh no.
I was making a twine game for the Game Jam over the weekend, and I just picked some colors that I thought looked good, but I realized as I was working that I chose probably the not great colors for colorblind people because they are very much red and green colors
Oh, no.
on a dark background. So, just unrelated to the workshop, but something to be mindful of as game developers is consider the accessibility of your stuff and don't make things just red and green for people that can't see red and green very well.
Riley's been arrested for accessibility crimes.
I think I've told this story before, but if any of you guys have played Monster Hunter, there are these two monsters, the Rathian and the Rathalos, which are both just like generic dragons. One is red and one is green, and so I was playing with a friend who was red-green colorblind, and he was chasing after the wrong one. And it's like, I'm gonna get it. It's like, you're fighting the wrong one. It's like, what? No, I'm not. It's like,
I'm not
yeah.
actually colorblind.
Oh.
Are you sure?
Well, no, yeah, it's just, you know, just. I apologize if that
I am
friend
mentally
is
colorblind. I don't
watching
remember
or seeing
anything.
this.
Any colors.
Let's see. How do I want to talk? I want to make something here. Or I just want to keep talking. One of my favorite flavor text things was for the game The World Ends With You. There were a bunch of items in that game, including quest items they were called, which were really just like crafting components that you could, air quotes, craft in a shop. My favorite one was the sweet, sweet onions. And again, these don't have any bearings, mechanically speaking. They are just an item that you use to make another item. But something about the description was just made me hungry. It was like, these mouth-watering onions are fresh from the market. They're every connoisseur's dream or something like that. And just like,
Eat onions?
well, no, I cook them first.
Okay.
But anyway, and I think that there's something worth mentioning about the fact that they are not sweet onions, they're sweet, sweet onions. Comma and everything. And I need to write. What do I want? Oh, and feel free to throw in any other random items that you don't see on this list. They don't have to be restricted to just this list. This is just to help you get going. But also, if we do choose these ones, then we can compare with everyone else if they have the same items.
I always thought it was just MC Guffin.
You know, it could be, for all I know. I didn't look up the proper spelling of MacGuffin.
It doesn't have any spelling. That's how useless it is.
Oh man.
It's an MAC.
It's MAC? Okay.
Wikipedia says so.
Thanks,
Is it named
Wikipedia.
after Mac? Someone?
Yeah, it's named after Mac Guffin.
Who is Mac Guffin?
He's the guy that got that Mac Guffin was named after.
Whoever he was very central to the plot.
The mysterious and our present.
Do you guys have trouble with proper nouns when you're making stuff up? I feel like I always struggle with proper
Like
nouns.
naming things?
Like naming things.
Yes.
It's terrifying
Yes.
to me.
I just rip off other books for character names.
Yeah, because like for example, like cultures or something, right? Like a made-up culture, it's like capital A.
Amoeboids.
A what?
Amoeboids.
Well, that sounds like
It's just a bunch of amoeba.
I'm gonna take that, I guess. The last thing. How do you spell? This was a thing in like Ratchet and Clank games. There were enemies called amoeboids.
There were. That's where I referenced.
Nice.
So you did the thing that you said when you wrote things off your stuff.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice.
Honestly, though, I wonder how, like, what is their naming scheme for naming things? Because Lombaxes just sound like cats, but you don't know why.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, huh. I mean, I think that's something that I kind of liked to do was just sort of like impulsively like, I want to have like a Z sound in this name. How do I make a name that sounds like a name but has a Z sound in it?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a clear answer,
Yeah.
but it was a fun exercise. So maybe they're just like, let's put an X in this.
I feel
creature.
like they actually use some sort of, like, naming convention
Oh.
for it. Maybe, like, Latin, because it just
Oh, yeah.
sounds like an animal that is similar to the you know. Okay. But I really want to know what species Captain Quark is, because he's not human.
There's probably
He's
a
like-
goofy name for whatever it is somewhere
There's
in the
probably
deep lore.
it's probably on the wiki. Everything's on the wiki.
What species is Mario?
Mario.
A plumber.
Because in Mario Odyssey, there's real humans, and he's not one of them.
He's a plumber.
No.
Oh no.
He's an Italian.
Oh
They
god.
just-
Oh no.
Oh no. That's worse.
Oh hey, have you guys played the game Risk of Rain? Probably. Well, it's okay. Anyway, Risk of Rain's a platform shooter roguelike type thing. I was thinking about Gun, and I thought about
Gun.
basically pick up items in Risk of Rain, right? usually just has a flat description of increases move speed by 20%, right? There's this one item called ukulele that just says, and his music was electric. And it's flavor text, but it also doesn't tell us anything about what the item does. So I guess a point to be made there is it's fun text and it leaves things mysterious, but also it does help to know what those things do. The item in question adds an electric shock effect to all your attacks that arcs to nearby enemies, which is useful, but the flavor text alone doesn't quite cut it for that one, I think. But it does give it some character. Yeah.
DMC3 has one of the weapons be an electric guitar.
Oh, gosh.
And it looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like the moves look so cool, but it's so impractical to use. And that's so like sad to me because I really want to use it,
Well,
but I
isn't
die
it
every
being
time.
impractical just more reason to use it?
It's like it's not very effective at hitting short range.
Oh.
And like there's not a lot of enemies which you can hit long range. So it's like not
I feel like
not very easy. Like not I'm guessing there's a ways to use it, but it's kind of hard.
Devil May Cry is a weird series for me because when I was growing up, I think that my parents were like, it's a little violent and a little mature for young Riley over here. So I ended up watching my brother play most of the games, right? Until around like 4, and then like I took a stab at playing Devil May Cry 4. So I enjoyed that a lot. I think that silly sword that revs up is hilarious and I love it. There's a lot of good stuff about the series that I enjoy. And I guess on the subject of like the weapons and whatnot, part of it's just the weapon design, right? But I think that it is cool that they're sort of based off of the enemies that they fight, right?
Yeah, it's like you beat the enemy and then the enemy turns into the weapon.
Right. So that's fun. So there's a lot of like potential with flavor texty things there in description.
Also, the guitar, the how you get the guitar is you have to beat this like seductress vampire lady.
Okay.
But like her whole boss fight is so long and so like it's not that hard, it just takes so long to beat because there's only certain times where you can hit her.
Oh, that's always
so
the
like
best.
yeah. So and then she turns into a guitar for you, I guess, which is cool until you realize you can't use it.
And her music was electric.
And her music was electric.
So
Literally, she shoots electricity at you.
Yeah. There was a game on the game. It's like I want to be writing, I do, but I also want to be talking, and I can't do both at the same time.
not with that attitude.
Not with that attitude, but also there was a game at the Game Jam that used slimes as their they had like a pre-made asset and they were using slimes. It was fun.
Was it Aquarius?
No,
slimes?
no, for the Game Jam.
Oh.
So we had a Game Jam just this last weekend. A lot of cool stuff, including a lot of good stuff. I was gonna pull it my game, but it's like, no, wait. But there were a ton of other really awesome games that did some cool story element stuff.
My game would have been cool if it ever got finished. But literally everything we did on Saturday got scrapped.
My game would have been cool if I had time to go to the Game Jam.
I feel that. The Game Jam set me behind in basically every regard other than Game Jam stuff.
My first game was performed at the simulator. And didn't even show.
Yes.
That was
It, a lot more got, like, we actually did a lot of that while people were talking. It's like all the pre-cogs were done, the damage and health weren't working, and like, it didn't switch between levels after somebody died, but other than that, it was like kinda done.
Gosh dang it. I'm trying to like take a stab at this shield. And
Take a
like,
stab at the shield.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, this, oh gosh, I was good. I don't know even know, I think I'm just overthinking at this point, but it's like, pretty sure there's like an anime currently that's like got a shield in it, and it's like, this is the shield of the great hero, and it's like, that sounds like an anime title I feel like I've heard.
Shield of the Great Hero?
Yeah.
Oh god, I think you're right.
So I'm kind of second guessing myself now. It's a shield.
The Rising of the Shield Hero.
Yeah, so that's what I was concerned about. I just shield and hero in the same sentence. It's risky.
You don't want to like out yourself as a lead or
I
something.
haven't seen this anime. I have no idea if it's good or bad or what it's about. It involves a hero and a shield, apparently.
And he's Rising.
Rise, yes, yes.
Rising
Just
is the shield.
floating.
Yeah, he flies.
All right, let's give it like 4 more minutes, and then we'll come back together and talk about
Hey
it.
guys,
What's up?
where can I get the 1098T form for tax stuff?
I don't know off the top of my head. It should be
Email?
online. I think there's an additional version too. Not relevant to the workshop, but yeah, taxes are important.
Do a workshop
Oh, like
on how to do your taxes.
mailed it
That'd be really helpful.
to.
Physically
It honestly
mailed
would.
it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff they should teach in high school.
What, taxes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They
how
should
to do
also tell you that
taxes.
if you're under 18, you make less than $5,000 a year, you're completely exempt from income taxes.
Yeah. There's a lot
Of any
things
of any
that
sort.
people-
Wait, so would it be like email it to me here then, or?
Physically mailed is how I got mine.
Okay.
Most government documents are physically mailed.
Is
They
it
don't
with the
email a
school
whole lot.
or?
It's my mom needs it for tax files.
Is it from the school or?
You can pull it. The school, if you go to the school, into your Zot account, you should be able to find it.
Zot what?
Your Zot account.
Oh, okay.
Keegan.
I am an adult.
Keegan,
I had to pay $600 in taxes.
Keegan, how do you pay your taxes?
I feel like if you don't make
I-
living wage, you don't
do 'em
need to pay
myself.
taxes.
With TurboTax.
Nice. Shout out to them.
No.
Yeah,
Boo to
TurboTax.
TurboTax. They actually lobby the IRS and Congress to make the tax code more complicated to sell their product more.
Negative shout out.
TurboTax, No.
Not TurboTax.
Not you too.
What? A company used the lobbying process to do a shady thing? Say it ain't so.
Shocked.
I hate the society. The society fucking sucks.
Anarchy.
In the writing workshop.
Yeah.
Where did the communist revolution take place? Well, it started in a writing workshop.
I'm gonna suffer in 2020.
It all started with flavor text.
It all starts.
Where do you find the form? What tab?
What was that actually about? That was a good thing.
I would want to use that.
How's it going?
Because I can't imagine that.
It burned.
I got my.
It's going okay.
I was just suggesting.
There was a
that.
friend in the Twitch chat who was helping us out, and I didn't
Okay.
even know. I'm so sorry, Twitch chat friend.
I love you, Twitch chat friends.
Working with you.
Helping with
Twitch
taxes.
chat friend was
Not
saying,
with taxes, just identifying the miscellaneous anime that I had vaguely heard of but didn't remember.
Ah, hell yeah.
It's a good watch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shield
Were
Yeah.
you the miscellaneous Twitch chat?
Are you the miscellaneous Twitch chat friend?
No, I'm not on Twitch.
Ah.
I'm doing homework.
Simultaneously there for the workshop and watching the workshop.
Wow,
offline.
that'd be something,
That'd be double the dedication.
right?
Simple it.
All right, we're gonna just start finishing up the last line of thought that you're working on right here, and we're gonna come back together and talk about this. All right, so the activity was, in case anyone forgot, to write some flavor text for these miscellaneous items that might appear in a game. So let's just go down the list. Did anyone write anything for MacGuffin? No?
I mean, everybody did it, right? Because I did it.
What? What?
Okay, I wrote something for all of these. I didn't write something good for all of these.
Share it. I
That's
want to
the
hear
thing,
it. I want to
that's
hear
the
them.
thing.
Yeah, that's fine. Fail faster.
That's fair. No.
That is
fine.
a-
MacGuffin. No one's ever been able to resist its pull, but no one can ever remember what exactly they're chasing.
Fascinating. It's like an SCP or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like a deconstruction of the MacGuffin, too. Nice.
You see, like, you might think that it's bad, but sometimes people will find meaning in it, and
Yeah, exactly.
I think that part of it is just us telling us that it's not good, but, like, I think that deep down we actually know what we vaguely are trying to do, and some of that gets across even when we don't intend. Or maybe I'm just being hopeful.
No, because like sometimes when you present something as like a finished, polished product, people will give it the benefit of the doubt, like
Yeah,
more
but I don't
readily.
know.
Like
Like-
I know that published
Like it
books have
says
gotten
that
away
I
with
had to
stuff
consent in
that
January.
I
or
would not
something.
let fly if I were
I
anything.
don't know what that means.
Although I will say, like, I think that, like, I've accidentally made some really good puns in my writing. And maybe I'm just subconsciously really trying hard to make puns.
You're just brilliant, Riley.
Maybe I am just brilliant. Okay, did anyone write and want to share their flavor text for Gun? Yes.
I wrote the most effective element.
The most effective element. Good. So it's like a fantasy world, and we got fire and water and gun.
Gun.
Gosh, there's a lot of good humor you could do with that. I very briefly tried. This is what I was talking about. How I was my brain was just like interrupted by the thought
So
of
like
risk
there
of
was
rain
an
while I was
email to
working
me
on this
about
one.
having it be
My flavor text goes
electronic.
crack, and another
and
soul
like,
was
I
taken.
don't know, I don't remember. if
And
I
it was like,
consented
gosh
to
dang it,
that
risk
or
of rain,
not.
this is all your fault.
So if I didn't,
This
they're
gun
just
does
gonna
not
mail
kill
it to me
people.
physically,
You
right?
kill people.
That's what.
Honestly, they should, but they
Okay.
should have already done that.
Yeah,
I like
just
how
I haven't checked.
Using
my,
this space, we're able to also sort of
whatchamacallit.
speak in our voices, so to speak, right?
my
Like,
mailbox for a while.
whoever's writing
So
it
they have
can take on a
that'd be a
voice,
good
or
idea.
make
Yeah,
it
it's
sound like
just-
it's
Seeing
from a
as
certain
taxes were due
specific voice.
Today,
today.
Also,
Well,
makes me think of a
okay.
line from
So if
Portal,
you-
which is you're looking for
I
a
would
gun that
recommend
shoots
if
holes, but not bullet
this-
holes. Just you'll understand when you see
if
it.
you're not able to find it, go to the financial aid. And they should be able to
Did anyone else have
pick
a
it
text
up
for
and
gun?
print it out for you, and that'll probably be the fastest way.
Well, yeah, but my mom needs it to
I
fill
was
out
gonna
her
try to
taxes.
make it
Right, no,
not
no.
a-
But
not
that's
like
what I'm
a
saying,
foregone
'cause you can
conclusion,
get it
but
from
I'm not
them
sure how to fit it.
today.
Conclusion?
Be able to go into them
Conclusion, but-
today, get them to print
Anyway.
for you today.
Did you have something?
Well,
like,
okay, but
Imagine how much more intimidating
I don't
it would be.
like. I don't think a
God.
printed form would be a
That's
good
it,
idea
that's my
because
fun.
how am I
Are we
gonna
making
mail it to
internet
my mom
posts,
when
or are we
it's
making
Yes.
flavored text?
Well, but if it's
Or
in
sometimes
your
it's the
mailbox,
same thing.
You know, it might as well be.
Oh, we're just writing the next
or at
season of
your
the movie?
dorm, is that
Yeah,
what
if it's in
Of
my
Ruby.
dorm. My parents live in NorCal.
right? So it's not going to do
A show that I
there
don't actually
either.
watch, but know
You
a
can take pictures
disturbing
of it,
amount
though,
about
if they
because of
submit-
my friends.
If they email,
Nice.
actually no, it doesn't matter. All you need
All
to
right,
do is send a
um,
picture of
I don't
what it
know.
says.
Does anyone else have anything
Because
for
they,
gun,
the,
or do we?
just
Okay.
have to
government
fill out.
doesn't.
I
They
guess
don't
that's
ask
a
for
foregone
a
conclusion.
copy of it
That's my original
with the
joke that
tax
I made
documents.
myself.
All they need to do is know the information that's on it.
Okay.
So
Wait,
you look it up.
you just simulated what is it called, a rim?
you.
Yep. Shot?
Rim shot. Yeah.
Anyway, does anyone have a flavor text for armor? Yeah.
Antique plate armor spotted with red stains. Whoever used to own this probably just ate a lot of spaghetti, right?
Good. Very good. I love it.
I like spaghetti.
Yeah. So if you couldn't hear that on mic, although I guess I should do that for all of them. I don't know. You can probably hear it on mic. The piece was, I believe, an antique piece of armor stained red. Whoever owned it last probably just ate a lot of spaghetti. Love that. Cool. Anyone else for armor? Yeah.
Completely bulletproof, swordproof, and arrowproof. This does not apply to bullets, swords, or arrows that are moving particularly fast.
Nice. So we got a sales pitch for this piece of armor. I love it. Any other for armor? Yeah. Oh, I love this.
Passed down through your family through generations. It used to belong to your brother.
Wait.
Yeah?
That was great.
Wait,
Megan. I
but-
love that one.
You're the same generation, but also
Your brother's dead, Chief.
I was hoping for an optimistic approach.
Maybe your brother's just really old and retired.
Yeah,
Maybe your
just
brother just
retired.
Weird.
didn't need it anymore.
Yeah, because he's dead.
Oh no. Any other bits of flavor text for armor? Yes.
Good for samurai, bad for ninjas.
Interesting. Good for samurai, bad for ninjas.
Because armor usually decreases your stealth stat or your speed stat.
Nice.
So
I'm trying to sneak around, but my arm is really loud.
my honor keeps.
Dummy thick.
Okay. Definitely got a lot of memes in here. Gosh, random line of discussion, but I like Monster Hunter a lot. I'm pretty sure that there was a little blurb about how they had to intentionally tell their translators to pull back the amount of memes they were putting in the translations, because they're like, we want the humor to last for a while, so show some restraint with how many memes we're localizing.
Last time you laughed at a Doge meme.
Was that your email?
Yeah. No, Doge is coming back.
Doge is coming back, and it's kind of weird.
Oh, okay.
There's a subreddit called Doge Lore, and it's just the daily life of Doge.
Oh boy.
Good morning.
All right, so do we have any other bits for armor, or want to move on?
Yeet.
All right, do we have one for shield? Any bits for shield? Yeah.
Good for defense and snowboarding.
Ah, yes. So.
I really hope that's a mechanic.
Yeah, if that were a
imply?
mechanic, that'd be useful information to have.
If only there were a game that had a mechanic like that.
Lord of the Rings has it in the
If
movie.
only there was a game where you could slide with your shield.
What would we call it? Like shield surfing or something?
Yeah, maybe.
If only there was a
What do we
game
call
that
the
had
game?
shields.
I don't
Like-
know. Link?
Like,
Story of Link.
We need a different name from Link, so everybody confuses Link with that character.
Oh, okay. Anyway, does anyone else have a
wilderness?
Air of Wilderness. I like that. Maybe
Wait.
like reusable.
Wait, an air or the air? Like, it's very different. An air, like the next in line to the throne, or
Or like wind.
yeah,
Like wind, yeah.
Maybe like a breath.
yeah,
Yeah.
an exhale.
Yes.
Exhale.
Exhale of anarchy.
Exhale of the wilderness.
Exhale of a couple of trees.
Anyone else have a flavor text description for shields? I've got one. This slab of metal stops a blade in its track. Tracks? Do blades have tracks? I didn't think this through.
Is that the whole thing?
Yes.
Blades make tracks.
Blades make tracks. They've got the little blood groove down the middle.
Ah, okay. Wasn't the original purpose just to save on metal or weight? It was weight. I think.
It was both weight and structural integrity.
Okay.
Also, it makes it easier to like.
Right. That was the thing.
Yeah.
That pixel's blinking.
There are many pixels
They're
on
not
this
pixels,
screen.
they're stars.
But some of them don't blink. That one is clearly blinking.
There's stars being.
Oh, okay. We got another one for shields.
Are they dead pixels or
A
big?
portable wall. Don't build a house with it.
A portable wall. Don't build a house with it. You can't stop me.
Build your house out of shields.
What a statement.
Horse mythology, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
Isn't there like a formation where turtle formation in like
phalanx?
Rome?
It's a phalanx.
A what?
Phalanx. It's hard to spell. Don't ask me to spell it. I won't mess up.
I thought it was called the turtle.
Yeah.
So you make a
You're
turtle.
welcome to call it a
Yeah,
turtle.
the only reason I know
Turtle's
this is
easier to spell.
Destiny.
Turtle.
Destiny.
Oh, I know that because it's some random comic book my mom used to read even though it's hot.
You might know it from God of War. I think that there was a special ability where you there's a special ability in God of War. I remember because I watched my brother playing it, where you just spawn like a phalanx around you, and then like arrows fall from the sky magically, and then everyone like stabs with their spears at the same time, and it clears the screen. And I thought it was probably the most boring one, but still cool.
It's also a thing in Rise, Son of Rome, if literally anyone remembers that game.
Oh yeah.
It existed. It was a launch title for the Xbox One, and everyone lost their minds over it, and no one played it again.
So, any other bits for shields? All right, well, let's move on. Health potion. Yeah, you got one for health potion.
I got one. Tastes like strawberries and almonds? Maybe I shouldn't drink it.
Strawberry and almonds. Is it in quotation marks?
Cyanide tastes like almonds.
There are some fun little.
Cyanide
Like,
tastes like almonds.
oh, is that the thing?
That's the implication.
Oh, well, that requires some prior knowledge that I did not have.
That's why it makes you feel smart.
It sure does.
If you know what it
If
means.
you know what it means.
And that's a good point to bring up. If you can, like, make your writing make the player feel smart about things or realize things, that's just good writing practice. Like, if you're writing a mystery, for example, I don't think we're writing mysteries in the flavor text of our items, but you could be.
I was thinking, like, have a mechanic where you have a bunch of health potions, that have similar flavor text, and then just have this health potion, have this flavor text, and be like, maybe that's not a health potion.
The game is the player actually needs to read the writing that you put on the paper.
D health potion.
The D health. No, you have to give it to like one of the characters to progress a quest, so they die.
Oh god.
Oh gosh.
Oh god.
Murder, I see.
Like you have to murder a corrupt king or something. You just give them the health potion.
Or, if you want to poison someone with cyanide, just call it Laetril and claim that it cures cancer.
Oh, alright.
Which is an actual thing that is still on the market today, despite the fact that it is literally a cyanide.
A cyanide.
Well,
they
cyanide is a
don't
chemical
answer
thing.
anymore.
One of those cyanides, I see. Any other health potion descriptions you want to go through? You got one?
A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. When sugar deactivates the active ingredient in this potion, so you'll just have to deal with it this time.
Deactivates the active ingredient.
Yeah.
That's
Alliteration.
I don't think that.
It's not alliteration.
Anyway, nice. Yeah. Wait, what if? So like, is there a mechanic where they consume a sugar and then it just makes the health potion not work?
I don't know, that's up to the programmers.
Well, or designers.
Or the designers. That's up to someone that's not me.
Well, you could have a say in it if you wanted. If you think it has implications in the story, you could.
Right. Hold them hostage and say, you have to put sugary treats in this.
The whole moral of the story is don't eat sugar. Just don't.
All right, let's go on. Slime. Does anyone have? Yeah. Oh, we got a few slime.
Looks very huggable, but you probably shouldn't.
Stole mine.
You stole mine too. What the heck?
His squishy qualities make you want to hug him. You shouldn't.
How come? Okay. How
We
come
all just really want to hug
we
slime.
just really want to hug these guys? I guess. Okay.
Why do you want to hug slime? It's slimy.
I put in parentheses enemy for some reason, and none of
Squishy.
us interpreted it that way somehow.
Well, that was the you shouldn't.
Huh? Yeah.
Mine was like you want to hug him, but you can't. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Here's
so
my
many
description.
things.
Clearly a friend. Really just trying to give a nice warm hug, and that was a pun.
We're all so wholesome. Just want wholesome slime.
Where were you guys during the game jam? The theme was lose to win, and people aren't cheerful usually.
No.
No. Anyway, any other descriptions for slime?
Sure.
Does yours involve hugging?
No.
Oh,
Disappointing.
3 for 4.
Mine is it is an actual foe. It said, once sneezed out by your high school bully, it attained sentience by sheer force of hatred.
Oh, that is colorful. I like it. It's definitely a different type of slime than the ones we were thinking about. I
Yeah.
guess. Nice.
Did anyone read Differently Morphous by Yahtzee Crowshaw?
Which one?
His latest book, if anyone listens to Zero Punctuation.
No, sorry.
It's a wonderful gaming podcast.
Ah.
YouTube thing.
YouTube thingy.
All right. Any other descriptions for slime? No? All right. Let's move on. Did we get a key? You got a key. What's your key?
So there must be a lock.
So there must be a lock. Nice. Any other keys here? No? Okay. Yeah, keys are weird. I think I was kind of thinking this one like, okay, let's say you have 2 doors. You need 2 keys. How do you distinguish these 2 keys for these 2 doors in a game? Because if you could just have key 1, key 2, that's not very interesting. You have like key of death and key of life. Maybe there's something to build off of there.
A sword is a key of death.
You're right.
Looks more like a keyblade.
Hey.
Don't copyright
My brain was
us.
just going in that direction, thanks to Dane. Yeah.
Giant
Right.
key. I wonder what it opens. Does it open anything in the game? I've only played like one Kingdom Hearts game.
Its special powers, it can unlock anything, including people's hearts. Which I don't know what that means.
But also it like locks away the darkness.
But also a normal sword can open.
But there's no
Swords.
physical lock for you to shove it in.
There's a magical lock. Oh, you don't even.
It's a metaphorical lock.
Well, in
It's in your heart.
the Game Boy one that I played when I was really young, and I don't entirely remember. I remember it opening like portal doors.
Yeah, but there's no. You're right. There's no like animation of like. There's like a fancy cinematic animation where he does that motion, but it doesn't unlock anything. He's just trying to look dramatic and cool.
Do you open chests by putting the
No,
or do you just smack
you
it?
just smack them.
What's the point?
It's such a powerful key that you don't even need to put it in
You
the
just-
lock. Yeah.
The worst part
You
is
just
like
smash the chest open. That's
the
how
worst part
big it
is
was.
they hide maps for the worlds in super big giant chests that look super special. And Sora has a special animation for opening them where he throws the Keyblade in the air, catches it and taps it on the top of the chest, and it gives me a map, and it's like, I wanted something more than something I didn't need. Which I say, but the Kingdom Hearts 1 didn't have maps and it was just suffering. So,
You do need to find your way around the map.
yeah. Herbs! Do we have any herb descriptions?
Yes.
Cool. Dane, what you got?
When consumed, it either restores vitality or makes pizza taste better.
I like it. I like it a lot. Bonus points if pizza doesn't exist in this world. Or
Or
not.
for quest is to
Oh,
make
such a
pizza.
terrible world.
Invent the taco.
Haha, I see.
I see where you went.
Yeah,
We're all nerds.
yeah, sure are.
Wait, Adventure Zone nerds?
Yes.
You
Yes!
just like tacos a lot.
Yeah, we just thought
Those-
tacos weren't
those
invented
taco
yet.
tacos.
Just
Naked
taco
goddamn
tacos.
wizards.
All right. Anyway, did you have one for herbs?
Yeah. Smells like peace and sunshine.
Nice. I like it. All right, so I think there's only one left. Bronze sword. Anyone have a bronze sword? Yeah.
You're incredibly glad it doesn't talk.
Okay. Wait. What? But did this? Was this just on the spot, or was that something you had written?
What?
Was this something that you had just come up with right now, or did
Yes.
you write that? Okay.
I wrote it just now.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
What?
No, I don't.
Did
nothing. I'm
Is
not-
there an actual flavor text somewhere?
No,
Like,
no. It's just I thought, or you're making an Adventure Zone reference again.
I am.
Yeah, so that's the problem. It's a problem. It's totally a terrible, terrible problem.
Not only Adventure Zone. I just like the cliche of swords talking.
It's a good thing. Yeah. Yeah. We should write something like that sometime. It sounds fun.
Talking swords.
Talking swords.
Talking swords.
They'd probably be very
You know,
frustrated.
be a very good super giant game.
I didn't even think about it. Oh gosh.
God, if you could like date your sword or something, like a super giant game, that would be even better.
If it trash talk your enemies.
I mean, that just goes without saying.
Any other sword descriptions? Yeah.
It's sharp enough to shave with, because it's a sword.
Nice. Megan, what you got?
I've got. Oh, I have to find it.
Oh, that's a great one.
We went out of order.
Yeah, I was trying to make it frustratingly out of order.
This type of sword used to be the peak of weaponsmithing. Then we discovered iron.
Historically.
We went from MacGuffin to gun to armor to shield, I believe, to health potion to slime to key to herb to bronze sword. I've got one. Pointy bronze end goes forward. And then I got another one. A heavy, reliable blade. Standard issue among the troops. Any others, or? I had a last one that I was working on, which Anna so kindly helped with. The last thing an amoeboid would see, or feel, or mush. I don't know what amoeboid.
What?
Never mind. Anyway,
You gotta come up with a whole fantasy race now.
I do have to
Chop,
cut, and they're called amoeboids. What the heck?
They're amoeboids.
Maybe they're like slime or something.
They're the slimes.
You know the slimes I'm trying to give people. Oh, that's dark. No. Never mind.
He's trying to give you a hug and you killed him.
Well, a sword's not usually a good tool for
monster.
dealing with slime anyway, right?
That seems like yeah.
Imagine the narrative dissonance of it's just this cutesy game, which you have to kill enemies to progress it. But every time there's like a flavor text at the end, you killed it, you monster. It's like Undertale, but you don't have the choice of going mercy.
That sucks.
I feel like that exists, and I just
I'm sure it
can't put my
does.
finger on it.
I know in a Cave Story, every time you beat a boss, it's like, you defeated Twin Dragons, exclamation point, right? And then there's like a few bosses where it's like, kind of tragic or sad, right? And it's like, you defeated this person, ... And that was like,
Now their children are orphans.
yeah, anyway, we are out of time for today. So, thank you all for coming to the workshop on flavor text. Next week, we got a really fun activity that's going to stretch the entire hour. So, I hope to see you guys there. I'm hoping it'll be really fun. If you have any questions, comments, or anything you want to talk about, feel free to message us on the writing channel Discord. Also, check out those Game Jam games. There were a few of them that did some really cool little story element things.
I wish mine did story elements.
What?
I wish mine did story elements.
In due time, Dane, don't worry. It's hard to do.
I've gone 3 for 3 on games without story.
It's okay. It takes some time. Okay, but
Well, you should have
I can
joined
talk
the
to you
visual
about this
novel club,
sometime,
huh?
No.
No?
my first like 2-ish games that I was trying very hard to put a story in, right? It didn't really work out. I feel you. It gets better over time. You just kind of get a feel for it. You get a better grasp of how to go about it. So hang in there, because those ones I expressly was trying very hard to put a story in, and it didn't succeed. But yeah.
I'm so
Anyway,
happy people know what the Adventure Zone is. Literally
Okay.
nobody in my hall has even heard of it.
of what?
Has anybody
The Adventure Zone.
listened to
Oh.
season 2? Because I know people that know the Adventure Zone, but they don't know season 2. And it's very
Oh
frustrating.
gosh, you
Do
know
mean
what?
the,
Maybe tapping the table
not
picks
the
up on
Amnesty
my.
arc?
Anyway,
Yeah.
I've not listened to Amnesty
anyone
yet
who's
because
watching
I'm waiting for it to
online
finish
or
because I don't want to
catching
catch
this
up
on
and just,
YouTube
like,
video, thanks
be
for
like, "Alright,
watching, and I'll see you
now
guys
what?"
next time.
I catch up, and then